What is up, everybody? Welcome to Crunch Time. You know the drill. Two of the sharpest minds in the biz and the weatherman. I'm going to take you up to lock. We might take you through lock. Give you some pitchers, give you some hitters, answer some questions, some home run calls. You know the drill. Joined by two of the sharpest minds in the industry. Mr. Irrelevant in the chat said, I'm here for some superheroes. That's TJ. Some humidity, that's me. And some lefty mashers. And that's Derek Carty. What up, Carty? How are you? I love of all the things he could have picked for any of us. Superheroes, that makes sense for TJ. Humidity for me, and then gotcha with the lefty mashers.
Yeah, that's mean. Just right out of the gate, just pulling no punches. All right,
could have gone with the BVP. There are a lot of.
I see how it is.
Yep, a lot of ways he could have gone. But then did say, hey, it's a solid trio. A man could get used to this team. It is a solid trio, but we like to mix it up, keep you on your toes. And best hair in DFS, thank you. I know, yes, thank you. No, worst hair on the show. Two of these two, man. Woo, woo. Good looking stuff, guys. TJ, what's up, man? How are you?
Doing pretty well. Had a nice, calm day today with the very few baseball games, so only the one show, which was a nice, relaxing break after the 4 shows yesterday. And so myself and my little girl, Natasha, just hung out for the whole day. We went to the park, had a little nap, and had a good day.
Sounds delightful. And I think the weather in Saskatoon is pretty good.
Pretty wonderful. Yeah, we went early, so it wasn't too much sun and heat for her. It's 86 degrees here right now. But we went at about 9:30 this morning when it was about 75. Had a nice hour and a half at the park. Then I kind of thwarted myself. Like I hoisted my own petard, if you will. And by taking her to the park, it kind of overlapped when she usually naps. And so she napped for like 5 minutes on the way home and then woke up when we got home and she kind of thought like, all right, that was my nap. I'm good. And she was just pissed off for the next hour and a half, 2 hours before I actually got her to sleep for her real nap. And so that was foolish on my part, but still, that's a small portion in the day. It was overall a great day.
Yeah, you did make a rookie mistake. If they fall asleep in that car ride home, even if just for like 45 seconds, that's nap. You're done. You're toast at that point.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you're able to recover. Derek Carty in the house as well, creator and mentor CEO of The Bat and The Bat X Enterprises. What up, Carty? How are you?
I'm doing well. It's early, but I'm already getting stuff set up for football, working on baseball stuff, obviously still. So it's always a busy time of year, but it's a fun one.
It is. And it is often a profitable time of year as well. And that is what we are here to do. We're here to win some money and to help you win some money as well. So let's talk about the weather aspect of the slate today, which is essentially not a whole lot. Did get a question. Do we know if the Rogers Center roof is open? There's a Twitter page that I check that tells me every day.
They haven't said anything yet today.
And they haven't said anything. And that annoys me. So the answer is I don't know if the roof is open or not.
I think when I was looking at the weather, I don't think it's really open roof weather. I can double check that real quick.
Are you a weatherman or something?
Actually, I could be wrong. It's 62, which is kind of like right on the. Usually that's a closed roof for them, but once you get over 60, they could open it.
Yeah, we shall see. So the answer is I don't know. The other answer is there's no real weather concerns on the slate, which is glorious. It's been kind of busy. We've had some postponements lately, and we do not today. So with that out of the way, let's talk about some of the pitchers and some of the hitters and the slate in general. TJ, why don't you lead us off with your overall thoughts here as you look at this, the pitchers? You need 2 on DK. You need 1 on FanDuel. What are you doing?
Yeah, we have, despite it being a small slate, only 4 games, we actually have some pretty elite pitching today. And so there's kind of a trio of 3 of them that we're going to be targeting, and a couple other options you can maybe use in some SP2s, but also some cheap enough bats, I think, on the slate that you can pay up for a double barrel scenario. And then in terms of stacks, there's nobody that's like aggressively great, But one team that's standing out to me as quite underowned. One team that's standing out to me as quite overowned. This is actually a really fun tournament slate considering it's only 4 games.
Okay, well, that was a good little teaser. With that, we'll dive right into things. Cardi, why don't you talk to me about some of these pitchers? Apparently, we've got some top-end options viable. What are you doing here?
Yeah, we have Chris Sale, we have Zach Wheeler, we have Mackenzie Gore. Oh. They all project well. Having 3 out of the 8 pitchers on a slate be aces is pretty rare, but it makes it kind of fun. Like TJ said, it's not hard to double barrel this, especially from like a cash optimal perspective. Like that's definitely the move. I think Sale and Gore are the 2 that you do it with in an ideal scenario. Wheeler is better than Gore, but his matchup is a lot tougher and he's 1,200 more expensive and he actually projects a little bit worse. So I think it's Gore. I think all 3 of them will pick up a good amount of ownership, probably fairly comparable. I think Gore will probably pick up the most. And then after that, almost any of the other guys, I think you can throw in if you're trying to get weird. Maybe Jacob Lopez, you don't, but the others I think are all fine. And I don't really have a strong lean on any of them one way or the other.
Well, I'm seeing as the
I guess Shane Baz would be the guy that I'd have just because he has the best stuff of the group and the best upside, and they've extended his leash this year, which is nice. So he's probably the one that I would go with out of the rest, but you could certainly mix them all in.
Okay, well, that is exactly what I was going to ask you. Over on FanDuel, Cardi, there's only 1 pitcher that you need to play. Is there a big pricing difference? Is there a guy over there, or is it kind of take your pick out of those top 3 again?
Yeah, I mean, because the projections for these guys are so comparable, it kind of does come down to price. I think Sale is probably the one you go with. I mean, he's cheaper than Gore and Wheeler, and he projects a little bit better than both. So it seems like a pretty easy decision on FanDuel, at least from a optimal perspective.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Let's kick it to TJ and get your thoughts. You said you were shaking things up maybe in the stack department. I don't know what your plans are, though, as far as pitchers. So let's hear it.
Agreed. Sale is the best option on FanDuel. We don't have any Bryce Harper in that Phillies lineup. So even though that would be lefty, it's not a great spot for Harper. Anytime you get him out of the lineup is a plus for the pitchers. So Chris Sale, my top option by far, because I think just in a vacuum, raw points, he'd be my favorite. Like Cardi said, he projects as the best in the bat, but he's also the cheapest on both sides. So I have 70% Sale today. That I could honestly see that being a scenario where he gets steamed up like, why am I forgetting the name of the Cubs pitcher last night? Matthew Boyd did yesterday, and he was like 75% owned. I could see that being the case for Chris Sale again tonight. And I think it's warranted. My next, I have basically the same amounts of Mackenzie Gore and Zach Wheeler, a little bit more Gore than Wheeler. I like Gore better, but Wheeler is coming in about 15-20% lower owned. So I'm just going to try and get about that much more. And I'm taking that 20% from Jose Berrios. The field's getting about 25% of him. I have 0. I really like Oakland's lineup tonight. I don't think I want to get to, if Berrios was 5% owned, I would be playing him as an SP2 in tournaments at 25%. I think he just deserves the X button because there's no reason to me he should be that type of chalk. I'm not going to play any Shane Baz just because he's looked really bad. Plus, he's facing an all right-handed lineup, and he's been ridiculously reverse splitsy this year. He's just really struggled to strike out any right-handed bats. So he's getting the X from me. Berrios is getting the X from me. Not playing any Hancock, even though I think you can just because it's super duper cheap and you just close your eyes, hope for the best. If he gets 15 and one of Sale or Gore or Wheeler fail, and the other only gets like 23 or 24, you actually could end up with a optimal super cheap pitcher scenario. I don't have any Hancock just because I really like the Nationals today, but I am taking a few shots on Jacob Lopez and Ryan Gusto. Don't feel confident about it, but we're just projecting nobody to play them right now. And so I'd way rather take shots on them at no ownership than Berrios, Baz, and Hancock at some ownership.
Okay. Well,
I'd just say my biggest concern with them is that they don't have the same leash as the other guys. Usually those guys are getting pulled at like 75, 80 pitches. So, I mean, theoretically,
Lopez like, so his was started out as like some bullpen appearances, but then 2 starts ago he got up to 84. Last start he was at 91.
Okay.
Yeah.
Historically, in the minors and stuff, they don't let him go that long, but in a tournament, I mean, you never know. Maybe they're going to change up his leash.
It's also like Eric Beinfor wrote this up in Lineup HQ as well. It's also the fact that like pretty much every Blue Jay from 1 through 6 is going to be 30+% owned on this slate.
Yeah.
And so it's just a bit of a case of like, if he gets luckily through a clean 5 innings and strikes out 4 or 5, not only do you topple a third of the field with all of the Blue Jays, but you also might have a chance at the optimal one. It's like, I'm playing 10% in 100 lineups. Right. So like not
you,
an aggressive.
You talked me into it a little bit. I kind of like that.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Did get this question. The person says it might be a little early for this question, but username is, will Sale get channel caked? Is there any credence to fading him rather, and thinking, hey, everybody's going to be on him, just going to go elsewhere?
It says, will Sale get Shanuel caked, which would be hilarious if they were playing the Angels, because Shanuel is on the Angels. But no, I don't think Sale gets channel caked tonight. If I was debating hitting the lock button on him.
Wow. Okay. Let's talk about the stacks, TJ. You said that there are some chalky stacks, there are some sneaky stacks, and you might pull a little flipperoo on us. So what are you seeing?
Yeah, so the Blue Jays are mega chalk, and I do like the Blue Jays today, but not as mega chalk. And so I'm going to be quite underweight on them. My favorite stack on the board is going to be the Athletics. Jose Barrios has been fine at sometimes this year, but we've just seen it in the last 2 years, seen him so get lightened up. He gets lit up a lot. It's hard to find that word there. He gets lit up a lot. And Toronto has played very hitter friendly this year. Oakland has an absolute ton of power. And so I want to play a ton of the Athletics today. I'm as my next highest owned stack, I have the Rays, followed by the Nationals, 2 teams simming really, really well today. And then just mixing in kind of at an equal rate, Houston, Toronto, and Toronto as 4 and 5. And then because it's only a 4-game slate, I am playing some Seattle, I am playing some Atlanta, I am playing some Philly, even though they are going up against some ace pitchers. Of the group, my favorite would be Seattle, just because Mackenzie Gore, from a strikeout perspective, from a DFS perspective, is basically just as good as Chris Sale and Zach Wheeler. From a real-life perspective, not quite as good. He gets strikeout stuff, yes, but he gets hit a little harder than those guys. So taking a little bit of Seattle and then just a tiny bit of Atlanta and Philly.
Okay, good stuff. Did get a note from Dean, which I thought was pretty interesting. We have Gore and Wheeler tied for first in all of Major League Baseball in pitches per game, and Sale is 8th. So we have first, second, and 8th most pitches per game right here on this very slate. Cardi, what are you doing here as far as these stack'ems go? What you stacking up?
It's one of those slates where I don't think there's anyone that you're just crossing off immediately. Like, you can theoretically stack every team on this slate. I'm with TJ. The A's are my favorite. I like the Rays quite a bit also. And I think I like Braves and Philly more than TJ does. He said, I think sprinkle, was that the word you used? Sprinkle of those guys? I mean, they project middle of the pack. I mean, it's a 4-game slate. Some of these other offenses, like, okay, the Nationals have a better matchup against Emerson and Hancock, but they're also the Washington Nationals. So just like, I think there's something to be said for just like playing the really good offenses, which happen to be facing the really good pitchers, but you're going to get leverage off them anyway. So I really like Braves and Philly stacks tonight.
Yeah. Okay.
Doesn't it feel a little bit wrong that the pitching matchup is Mackenzie Gore against Emerson Hancock, and yet Seattle's favored?
That does seem odd.
Like, Seattle is better, yes, but like they're pretty close to the same. Seattle's like a better version of Washington in terms of offense, but they're kind of the same in the sense that they have 2 really good hitters, a couple all right guys, and then the back of their lineup is just absolutely trash. I think the couple all right guys and even the really good ones are maybe better on Seattle than Washington. But it feels
I'm
like
actually looking at the bats projection, and it totally agrees with you. It looks like Seattle's the favorite. Wait, hold on. You said Seattle's the favorite, right?
Seattle's the favorite.
Yeah, Seattle's favorite looks like around minus 115 or so. The bat thinks it should be more like plus 115, plus 120. So should be underdogs. I'm with you.
Yeah, I like the Nationals tonight in that one, just based on it being Gore against Hancock. But like I like, for large field tournaments, I do like Seattle and Atlanta. Philly would be the one that I would leave off just because I just don't know. Like, there's literally no one on Philly that I actually want to play. Schwarber can always hit anybody, but Sale is as good against lefties as they come, and like, there's nobody else outside of like Real Muto and Bohm, because they're cheap, on that team that really excite me.
Yeah. Okay. I got a little some betting info, some pitchers, some hitters. We got to go around the horn, TJ. We got to talk position by position. We're starting a catcher. I assume the dumper is always a viable option here, but what else do we have?
Just Cardi, did you have more in stacks? I feel like you started with like.
No, I mean, you can make a case for all the rest of them, but those are the ones I like the most.
Got you. Catcher position, my highest own is going to be Shea Langelier over Cal Raleigh today. Cal Raleigh is great. He's also facing Mackenzie Gore. Now, we're projecting 2.8% ownership for Cal Raleigh. I don't think that'll be the case. That's not going to happen. It'll be higher than that. But we want to spend up for the stud pitchers. And Seattle is not an offense that people are going to be getting to today. So he will be super low owned. My highest owned is going to be Shea Langeliers. He's my number one favorite. But number two for me is Cal Raleigh, just because he's going to be very low owned today. Even if I'm not full stacking Seattle, I am still stacking up. I am still playing Cal Raleigh as a one-off or as a mini stack with Julio Rodriguez a fair amount. Alejandro Kirk, I think, is probably the I'll leave that to Cardi, but probably the cash game guy. But he's also going to be 30+% owned for tournaments today. And so I'm going to be but underweight on Kirk. I like, in the same price range, a pivot instead to somebody like JT Real Muto, either of the Houston catchers, and Drake Baldwin at really low ownership, even though he's facing Wheeler, I think is interesting too.
Good stuff. Cardi, your favorite catcher?
Similar thoughts. I think Langelier and Kirk are, one of them is your cash guy. I don't think Kirk deserves to be that much higher owned than everybody else. I think the bats ownership is a little bit more. It doesn't have him projected quite as aggressively ownership wise, but if it's going to be anywhere near that, I'd far prefer Langelier. Love Raleigh, love Real Muto, love Baldwin. In tournaments, all get you leverage. All are good catchers. I'd much rather play one of them than, even save, you'll save money by playing Matt Thais or whatever, but I'll just pass on that and play the good hitters that get you leverage.
Sure. Take me to first base, Cardi.
Vlad is the top guy. He projects for high ownership, and I think that's going to be the case. He's the best option. He's arguably the most talented. Maybe Matt Olson is better, but Matt Olson's also facing Wheeler and Vlad's facing Lopez. So it's a big difference. Vlad's the guy. Yandy Diaz for 600 less, I think, is also really good and will probably pick up a decent amount of ownership. The guy that I think is really interesting, though, is Ernie Clement. Vlad's going to pick up a lot of that ownership at the position for the Blue Jays. Clement can play second also, but you could plug him in first here. I don't think that's just to make your J stuff different. I don't mind doing that. He's 2.4K. He's hitting sixth. He's definitely the value play here.
TJ, your thoughts at first? Yeah, similar thoughts for me at first. I do love Vlad, but he's going to be crazily high owned. I am pretty I'll be under, but he's still my highest owned first baseman today. He's too cheap, and it's a great matchup. And it's a really, really weak position. So my favorite for large field tournaments is going to be Jonathan Aranda. But outside of him, play Josh Bell or Nathaniel Lowe in your in your national stacks, if you're stacking them up, you can always play Matt Olson, even in a terrible matchup. So if you want to play a low-owned Matt Olson, you absolutely can. Only guy I really hate is Donovan Solano. So if you're choosing between a punt between Davidson and Solano, I would pick Davidson. But I like Clement better than both of them anyways. It's Vlad is the best. Aranda is my favorite pivot. It's a great, you can play a low-owned Olsen, but it's a super tough matchup.
Okay. Second base, TJ.
Ernie Clement is the guy that I'm getting here the most tied with Brandon Lau. They're going to be the two highest owned guys. But I'm totally okay with playing them at their prices. They're both too cheap. So I'll be under the field on Brandon Lau. I'll be over the field on Ernie Clement based on what we're currently projecting. But I can see Brandon Lau being a little bit lower and Clement being a little bit higher anyways, given the ownership on the rest of the Blue Jays players. Luis Garcia is going to be my favorite large field tournament play today. And then outside of that, it's just players in my stacks. I have one lineup with Bryson Stott, one lineup with Ozzie Albies, a couple with Altuve, a couple with Dylan Moore, a couple with Arias, but it's Clement, Lau, and Garcia is my big three.
Okay. Cardi, your thoughts at second?
Yeah, Clement is the easy value play here. He's great. I like Lau. Garcia, though, might be my favorite, at least among the non-Clement tier guys. He's cheaper than Lau. I think he's facing the worst pitcher. It's a sneaky good park for power. I like Garcia quite a bit. After that, there's not really a whole lot to like. Albies maybe in your Brave stacks against Wheeler, but that's about it.
Let's go to third, Cardi.
The Rays guys here, I think, are the best options. Yandy and Caminero, whichever one you want to play. They project comparably. They're similarly priced. I like both of them a lot. But it's kind of it's the same thing in a lot of these positions. Like Austin Riley is not going to be very owned against Zach Wheeler, and you're getting a price discount on him, and he's getting a park upgrade. Like, just give me some Riley and give me some Alec Boehm while you're at it on the other side of the game.
Sure. TJ, third.
Yeah, insert exactly everything we said about Matt Olson for Austin Riley as well. I like Isaac Paredes. Alec Boehm is a fine, cheap option. I think my favorite is probably Junior Caminero. He's coming in at like a third of the ownership as Yandy Diaz, but he's just as good, if not a little bit better. So Caminero is going to be my favorite option. I'm getting some Tena as a punt in my Washington teams, but Diaz, Caminero as the top options, Riley and Paredes as the pivots.
You get the honor of taking us to shortstop, TJ.
I see the people in chat asking for some Spidey bombs as well, and I do see we're already over 50 likes. So I will get the people their first Spidey bomb right after we do shortstop here, after Cardi does shortstop, when you throw it back to me. After he does outfield, I guess, technically, since it's 2 in a row, I'll have him ready to rock. But shortstop position today, CJ Abrams is my favorite. I'm going to be heavily overweight on him and Jacob Wilson. Wilson almost won me a tournament yesterday. He hit a home run. I was leading the mini max. And then I can't remember what else happened, but I think I finished 6th. So we were very close to taking it down, but didn't quite get there. Abrams 1, Wilson 2. I'm going to be heavily underweight on the Bo Bichette chalk. Bichette and Kirk are going to be the two Blue Jays I'm most underweight on. I'm still playing a ton of Clement and Vlad. Bichette and Kirk I'm underweight on. And then after those 3, it's kind of just anybody that you're stacking, but I wouldn't play anybody else outside of a stack. Trey Turner is like same theory, as Olsen and Riley, but I don't think he's as good as they are. So Abrams 1, Wilson 2, Bichette 3 for me.
Very good. Carter, your thoughts at short?
Bichette's the best play. He'll be the chalk. But aside from price, I don't see a whole lot of difference between him and Abrams and even Turner. I like Turner here. He's really expensive, and he's facing Sale. But that's kind of the reason to play him on this slate, to get different. So I like Turner a lot in tournaments. After that, everyone else is kind of the same. You can play some Caballero, you can play some Pena, whatever. But the the top three are kind of the guys that I like the most.
Okay. Take me to the outfield before we get some Spidey bombs. What do you like there?
From like a value optimal perspective, the A's and the J's are the players that you're going to probably see a lot of here. And in cash, you're going to want in your lineups. Lawrence Butler, I think, is the best of them, but also you have Rooker, you have Soderstrom. For the Jays, you have Santander, you have Springer. Even Miles Straw is not terrible at 3K. I probably want a different J, but you can mix him in. And then, I'm going back to Braves and Phillies. Acuna at his ownership, give me tons of Acuna. Give me Marcell Ozuna. Give me Schwarber and Castellanos. I think that's kind of the way to be different in tournaments.
Okay. TJ, you promised the people a Spidey bomb here at 50 likes. So you've surpassed 50 likes. Give me a bomb.
Got it scrolling at the bottom of the screen. It's CJ Abrams plus 425 for the first Spidey bomb. Second one at 100 likes. So keep hitting that like button. And we got some more home run picks for you. We're only 20 likes away. Let's bump it up there. My highest own is Brent Rooker. Number 2 is Abrams' teammate, James Wood. Really love both of these guys today. My 2 favorite outfielders, Lawrence Butler right behind them. But honestly, it's just such a strong position. I'm viewing Rooker and Wood as under-owned. That's why I'm going like so heavily on them. But Lawrence Butler, Josh Lowe, George Springer, all fantastic plays. Anthony Santander, I'm going to be underweight on just because he hasn't been very good this year at all. And so I like playing him at this cheap price when he's low owned, but I'm going to avoid him when he's going to be 30%. Low ownership guys, I love the Acuna call. Really like Julio Rodriguez tonight. Really like Tyler Soderstrom. And then if you need somebody a little bit cheaper, Jake Myers batting 5th today for Houston, I really like.
Okay, good stuff. Carter, your thoughts in the outfield, please.
Same as they were 3 minutes ago.
Did I already ask you? Sorry.
Yeah, you were too busy giving a terrible cereal take in chat. Like, no wonder you think cereal sucks because cereal you eat Raisin Bran.
What do you eat? You eat the sugary crap. It's just like, oh, I want to start my day with 10 pounds of sugar. That's good for you. It's terrible.
That's where you're already doing things wrong because cereal is the best snack. Midday, end of the day. That's when you dive into your sugary cereal. Like that's when it's not going to satiate you for like a full meal, get you ready for the day. It's the tasty snack after you've had a tough day.
I actually do agree with that. If I eat cereal, I do prefer it in the middle of the day, not for breakfast when I just want some eggs. But the chat coming to the defense of Raisin Bran, they know that it's good.
Raisin Bran is good.
Yeah, it's great. You're alone in this, TJ. And you were the one who called me out for shitty cereal.
Take a bowl of Raisin Bran and put it next to a bowl of Cinnamon Toast Crunch and say, what's better?
Raisin Bran by a lot.
No.
Yeah. No. Literally, no one wants cereal that is so sugary you can see. You literally see the sugar on it.
That's the cinnamon.
That's the sugar.
I'm going to go to a poll right now. What's better, Raisin Bran or cinnamon?
And isn't that their whole shtick? Isn't it the taste you can see? Is that Cinnamon Toast Crunch? Yeah.
We put so much sugar on this that it's visually revolting for me. But please do. Please put that.
And I love how now that I'm thinking about it, like back in the 90s, they'd have the commercials and there'd always be like some old lady or some middle-aged man looking at it like, oh, blah, blah, blah. Now I'm that guy. I'm like, all right, yeah. I don't want that either.
There's sugar on this cereal. Yeah, that was like literally the way they would advertise it. Jay says, what did Roth grow up eating? Bacon and eggs like a man. I've been a man since I was born. Bacon and eggs every day for breakfast. We got off track. We need home run calls. That's what we need. We already got one from TJ. We got a Spidey bomb. We get 2 at 100 likes. I'm sure that people will do that. We need a couple from Derek Cardi. What do you got?
All right. So, top guys for home run tonight, according to the bat. Kyle Schwarber's number 1. I'm serious about this Philly Brave stuff. I mean, they could just get shut down because it's Wheeler and Sale, but there's enough chance that they don't, and then you just knock out like half the field. I really like it. Rooker looks really good too at the top. As far as stuff lower down, Santander, I even though he's been bad this year, I still think there's still juice in his bat. I like him quite a bit. For betting purposes, there was not a lot of home runs today that I liked. Lawrence Butler plus 450 looks okay.
Yeah. Okay. TJ, you did have one person come to your defense. Wayne McCoy says, sorry, Roth, Cinnamon Toast Crunch is better than Raisin Bran. You had one. I had 15. You had one person. You and Wayne together alone.
I think the chat must be trolling you, and there's actually been multiple Butthole Jenkins, CTC, in multiple times. You're just Dalton Schultz, Cinnamon Toast Crunch for sure. Negative sweep, negative creep, Cinnamon Toast Crunch. So you're kind of
really
just
quick.
ignoring all the Cinnamon Toast Crunches above that.
I'm seeing mostly Raisin Bran, but if our target audience was 6-year-olds, I'm sure we'd see a lot more Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
I think if your target audience is anyone other than 60 plus, the answer is going to be Cinnamon Toast Crunch by a freaking mile.
This is you're just wildly incorrect. What do we got? We've got one Spidey bomb here at, we get another one at 100. I see. All right. Oh, now you're hand picking. See, this is the power. Oh, CTC. I thought people were talking about what is the concussion syndrome?
CTE?
CTE. I was like, why are people typing? I have no idea why people are saying this. All right. I'm sorry.
If you're gonna eat a chocolate or a sugary cereal, why are you picking Cinnamon Toast Crunch? Pick something that's actually good or fun. Like eat Count Chocula, TJ. Eat something that's actually
you guys fun. Don't know cereal, and it's kind of crazy.
Fruity Pebbles. Did you mention Fruity Pebbles? Because I actually do like Fruity Pebbles.
Fruity Pebbles are
those are
pretty good.
Just Rice Krispies with extra flavoring.
Yeah.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch and honeycombs, the number two, the two goats.
Honeycombs? I don't even think I know what is that a Canadian? Is that sort of Canadian?
They're American, or they have them in America too. But
all right. Bootleg Head Chopper says, do you pour Pacifico instead of your milk and raisin? I one time on a bachelor party tried to do Beerios, where I had Cheerios and we were all hungover, and in the morning I just grabbed a fresh beer and poured it in and ate my cereal with beer. And it was literally the worst thing I've ever done in my life. I still like it. It was truly, truly terrible. Raisin Bran only served at Grandma's house in the 80s. You guys are wrong. Y'all are wrong. And stop just picking the individual ones to defend yourself, TJ. I know what you're up to.
I have the power. Why wouldn't I use it?
Let's see. We did some home run calls. Is Lock at 40 after or 45 after, TJ?
45.
45.
All right.
And just so you know, the poll is at 62% Cinnamon Toast Crunch, 63 Cinnamon Toast Crunch, 37% Raisin Bran. And I put this on your Twitter, Roth. You have more followers than me. Put that on your Twitter poll, and I will bet you it is more than 80% Cinnamon Toast Crunch and less than 20% Raisin Bran.
I find this hard to believe that the world has gone so soft. This is just a terrible choice. I'm disappointed in everyone. Hey, let's answer some questions.
What is the heartier breakfast? And what tastes better?
It's not good. Like, you can't eat it to be like, what tastes better for breakfast? A donut or real food? Like,
a donut.
You can't eat it. It's not a breakfast food. It's freaking sugar.
I'm not asking what time of the day you're going to eat it. If you're asking me what tastes better, a donut or Raisin Bran, guess what? It's a donut.
But it's just not breakfast. It's not okay.
That's not the question.
And you're not having it all the time. Like, you'll have it every once in a while. Like, you're not having Cinnamon Toast Crunch every day. Like,
are you, TJ? Are you? Or are we? I don't know. We got to check.
I might have a bowl of cereal every day, though.
Yeah. All right. Hey, let's.
A bowl of cereal every day for a month. That's the question. Or every day for a year. That's the question. And
right. And that's where Raisin Bran wins.
Yeah.
That's where Raisin Bran wins. All right, let's see what we've got. We did get some questions coming in, even a few here in the old Discord. Bill says Frosted Flakes. We did leave out Frosted Flakes. Frosted Flakes, pretty good. They're pretty yummy. FanDuel GPP, your favorite pitcher, TJ?
I mean, Chris Sale.
Okay. I would die for cereal at Kevin. Was that Was that you, TJ?
No, not you. Somebody said TJ is way too passionate about this, so I just doubled down.
Okay, yeah. Let's see. Now it's just a bunch of food takes. Here we go. Jim says, "What about Astro stacks, Cardi?"
Yeah, Astro stacks are fine. They're not one of my favorites today. I think Baz is pretty good. It's not like you're getting them super cheap, but they're fine. I mean, there's not a single stack that I'm going to be like, no, you can't play them today.
No. Cardi, DK Cash pitchers, please.
Sailing Gore.
Lex Xander says, "Do we regenerate lineups after lock like we would with NBA?" TJ, I don't fully understand that question. Perhaps you do. Do we regenerate the lineup?
Swap, essentially? Do you swap things around in MLB like you would NBA? So it's not to the same extent, because in NBA we'll get an piece of injury news after lock that completely adjusts how multiple players are projected. So to the same extent, no, you absolutely do not need to late swap like that. However, there are kind of like, there's still basic game theory with it that would be the same for baseball that's any other sport. So for example, say you're leading a tournament and you do not want anybody to catch you, and you have a player in your lineup that is quite chalky. Well, if you don't want anybody to catch you, you want to keep that chalky player in your lineup because you're trying to not have anybody below you get up. And so most of those people below you will have that same player. Say you're trying to catch up to somebody in first place. There's 8 people ahead of you. And you know that, say, those 8 people ahead of you today will have Bo Bichette at shortstop because you have almost the same team of them. If you change it to almost the same price, Jacob Wilson at a third of the ownership, you're more likely to catch the people that you're chasing because you're going to have a guy that's lower owned. And so to the same extent as NBA, no, absolutely not. Just because NBA, things can just like change. The whole landscape of the slate can change in a flash. Or it can be something tiny where it's like, because of this injury, some guy's going to get 6 more minutes. And so now he becomes a good value play, but nobody's going to play him. Not to that extent, but from a game theory perspective, play the chalky player if you want to stay above the people that are below you. Play the lower, switch to a lower owned player if you're trying to catch people ahead of you.
Okay, very good. L21 says, "Hey, Cardi, what are the best home run betting odds today? What do you got?"
Yeah, I mentioned before, there's really not a lot that I like today. Lawrence Butler plus 450 at DK is probably your best option. But I mean, on a 4-game slate, there's just not as many to choose from. So there's less of a chance of guys really sticking out with great odds. So today, Butler's all right. Soderstrom for 475 is all right. But it's not a great home run day.
Yeah. Okay. For the first time ever, we have more likes than vote. Congratulations. That is rare here, but we appreciate it. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up for us.
We did just get over 100, so we got the next Spidey Bombs.
Perfect.
I love it when we get to give one out that is like some crazy high odds. And so we're going Jake Myers for Houston, batting 5th today, plus 875.
Very good. Hoosiers Hang Banner says, TJ, Altuve or Springer in single entry? They're the same price over on Yahoo.
Springer.
Okay. Do you get some NBA news? According to Power, Cat and Neesmith are in. They're both in. That's good. Let them play full strength. I did get a question, Roth, how was Freddie got fingered? Because if you missed it, I lost a bet with Dean, and then I had to watch a shitty movie, and the shitty movie chosen was Freddie Got Fingered. And let me tell you, that movie was terrible. It was truly terrible. There were a few moments that did make me laugh, thank God. But by and large, it was every bit the punishment that it was intended to be. So I'm quite pleased that that's gone. I guess I'm going to ask this question. I don't understand it. It's a trivia question. And Cardi, I'm going to come to you. Since Altuve is the toy cannon 2.0, who is the original toy cannon with the Houston Colt 45s? So I'm assuming there was a short player with the Houston Colt 45s that that we
That
were
is
supposed to know?
a little before my time. I do not know the answer.
Yeah, I don't know. Bill, let us know. Was multiple people in chat saying Jimmy Wynn is the answer, and since multiple people said the same thing,
It's probably the answer.
I'm gonna guess that's it. But let us know. Oh, buddy, let's see. We got 5 minutes until lock. Cardi, who will win the World Series? A question from Mitchell. Who will win the World Series?
Well, we don't know for sure, but in terms of probability, the Dodgers are still the best team in baseball.
Yeah, by enough that you feel like that's who you would bet.
Well, I wouldn't bet them because the books are going to think that too, and you're not going to get the right odds. But, if I just got one pick and odds weren't a thing and just like pick one team that you think has the best chance to win the World Series, it's the Dodgers.
Yeah, that's not fun though, because everybody knows that, that's chalk. The answer, by the way, was Jimmy Wynn. So kudos to those in the Discord and the chat who knew it. J. Crew Guy says TJ, Caratini and B. Lau, or Kirk and Garcia, DK Cash.
Caratini and Lau.
Okay. TJ, we've got another.
TJ posted a poll on Twitter and worded the question again in such a way that's going to skew towards him. Big surprise.
Did he do that?
Well,
Yep.
did you do that? Well, because I'm the one who asked the question and you guys are disputing it.
What did you put?
Which of these two is the better tasting cereal?
I'm not sure we said the better tasting cereal.
That's what I said, and you said it was Raisin Bran.
I think we said the better cereal, not just better tasting.
I said specifically, I'm not referring to one that's the healthier breakfast, the one that's going to make you feel better. I'm saying the one that tastes better, and you doubled down on Raisin Bran.
Yeah, well, now I tripled down because I just voted for Raisin Bran. So.
Roll the tape. I can roll it. I'll go back. I'll flip it.
Right, roll the tape. Let's see. Lex says, "Hey, I've got one more question, and I'm just going to read it." TJ, this is for you. Let me scroll up a little bit. One last question, guys. Do we want to run 2 or 3 uniques or keep it at 1? I've never understood the process with it. My feeling on this, TJ, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, but this is what Cheese has taught me, is whatever contest you are signing up for, you want to essentially max enter that if possible, ideally. So if you're only playing 1 entry, then you probably just want to stick to single entry tournaments. If you want to play 3 unique entries, find something that's a 3 entry max. If you're doing a single entry in a 150 entry max, you're hurting yourself. Is that fair, or do you not feel so, TJ?
Well, it depends entirely on your goal. From a bankroll building perspective, yes, absolutely, you nailed it to a T. But for some people, it's about, hey, I want a chance to win $50,000 tonight. And so if that's the case, like, no, you're probably not going to. But if you're doing this for enjoyment, for the chance to win big, then there's nothing wrong with playing 1 lineup in 150 max setting. But it's just about like what your goal is. From a bankroll building perspective, gives you the best chance to win money? Absolutely. It's exactly what you laid out.
Yeah. Okay. FanDuel, it's a 3X. I don't know what that means, but FanDuel, Cardi, this is for you. Abrams Clements or Josh Lau and Caminero?
It's close. Probably Abrams Clement.
Okay. Chris Brown says, TJ, Bichette or El Garcia? I'm stacking Washington and Toronto. It's a FanDuel GPP.
I mean, Bichette's the better play, but Garcia will be way lower owned. So, okay. I mean, I would probably do Garcia.
Okay. The people want to know about the quality of TJ's blood. People are asking for a blood screen, TJ. He didn't say
I will go. I'll put the blood test right on air. I got perfect blood ratings. I don't know what the proper term is.
You coming good? I came in with a little high.
Blood pressure is 120/80.
Could you? Okay, that's nice. That's good. I came in with a little too high.
Blood sugar might be a little high. Blood pressure.
See, well, that's what we want to know is what's the blood sugar.
I'm joking. I would just feeding into the bit, but
mine was like, you are actually 1% Pacifico, and that's not the way your blood is supposed to be currently. Hey, guess what? We hit the lock. That is what we came here to do. Always good to see. We answered the questions, and we did all the things. So let's clear on out of here for TJ, for Cardi, for our wonderful production crew. Always working hard. As we appreciate you, we love you, and we will catch you tomorrow. You have been crunched.